1140 The Fan. Talkin' money. Talkin' money.
Let's rejoin your host, Jeff Tarbell, and Talkin' Money.
Yeah, it's me. How you doing?
Doing good.
Happy couple days after the 4th. Did you blow up your neighborhood? Did you lose your dog? I mean, how many years are we going to hear people lose dogs running off the 4th of July?
A couple fires, houses in Roseville.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Burned down. Something about putting some fireworks that they thought was disposed of properly into the garage at night, and lo and behold, there was big fireworks at about 2 a.m.
I like this. Did you see the San Diego firework debacle? I mean, people are renting hotels. I mean, they're making this is going to be like a 20-minute show, the best show in history of people on their boats, and they got there, and the thing goes off in like 120 seconds.
Whoops.
20 seconds? Yeah, the whole thing was over. And Kevin, I thought you hit the wrong button, man. That's what happens. You let the I don't know. I guess your computer glitched out. They must have had a little problem down there. Obviously, we did have a quiz question before the break. The question was, who holds $1.6 trillion of U.S. debt? And the answer was not China.
Right. This is a increase of 452% since January 2009.
Okay.
So
Michael got it right, and Michael, by the way, is for the bullet train. So, and the answer was who or whom?
We do.
Or what?
U.S., United States Federal Reserve, is a proud holder of $1.67 trillion of U.S. securities.
Yep, and basically with the way the bond market has been rallying, they have made fairly sizable profit so far on their investment. Now, They have to. How do you get your profit out of an investment? You must sell it. So if they hold it too long and the market turns and rates start going up, the values go down, they will lose their profit and then lose some money. So it's a very difficult balancing act because the Federal Reserve, wants to be a consumer or soak up the supply of these bonds, because that's what trickles down ultimately to mortgage rates staying low. So they're trying to be active in the market, soak up these things, keep an active buyer pool so that the rates can stay down. But at some point in time, you have to unwind that, and you can either unwind it too early, which means you can start selling these things back off, in which case you're then competing with other bonds, which means rates have to come up a little bit in order to find a buyer. And then you could stall out, whatever little bit of growth we may or may not have, or you can hold them too long, sell them too late, which basically means that rates have already started to go up, and so you're sitting there holding a lower rate note and everybody else is getting higher rates everywhere else, and you have to discount your note to sell it if you're the government, and you lose money on that. So it's a difficult position to be in. It really, it could be kind of a no-win.
Hopefully somebody's looking at that in pretty detail at $1.6 trillion.
I'm sure they are. So far they've come out on the winning end of things, and this is going to be the challenge when you're in a political year. Like, we're just not seeing, we're not seeing any kind of growth right now at all. You look at the jobs report came out yesterday, only 80,000 jobs in June. That makes, I think, the worst quarter in the last since the beginning of 2010. Mm-hmm. That's got people worried. Manufacturing is down. That's got people worried. So it does appear the only bright spot might actually be real estate right now. Real estate has sales have been continuing to do well. New builders are doing okay. Resales are doing okay. Prices are creeping up a little bit in most of the areas. So real estate has a tendency to kind of lag other things, which means it will probably lag going back the other direction too. So, people feel more confident. There's production, there's money being spent. Then I'll pull the trigger and I'll buy a house. So that kind of follows a little bit later. So we're kind of seeing real estate kind of catch up to what was doing well, and now that's kind of chartering off. Real estate go with it down the line. So it's interesting to see. You look at UCLA. I think it did a report for 2012, and I've got it in here somewhere that talks about. It was Fannie Mae. This was interesting. You hear so much about people, young families and younger. I call them young kids, actually, 18 to 34-year-olds, who have stood around and watched their family members either immediate family members or families or friends or certainly their neighbors lose their homes, go upside down, lose their investments, go through, a lot of heartache and turmoil. And you would think, much like the Depression had a long-lasting impact on our grandparents, on how they did things, you would think that this sort of real estate depression would have the similar influence on future home buyers, right? You look around and go, man, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to put my money into something and lose it, or have to lose my house. But Fannie Mae's survey, this came out last week. Although young households have increasingly opted to rent in recent years, most still aspire to home ownership. This is the survey was from last year, but the results just came out. The late 2011 Fannie Mae National Housing Survey found that 86% of renters aged 18 to 34 believe they will ultimately own homes, and 70% felt that this was actually a good time to buy now. So that's a good survey, because that's going to be who buys your house when you want to sell next,
right.
The 18 to 34-year-olds. So I think that's good news. We'll see if it transpires.
I was out at some home builders yesterday afternoon talking in the West Roseville area, and they said they are just booming with first-time folks coming in, buying,
Must have been listening to this show.
Yeah, they're out buying these homes, and, the sales agents there were really boastful for how much it's increased, and, a lot of first-time home buyers out there looking at these new properties, and even some bigger ones, 3,600 square feet out in the middle of Roseville.
Yeah, middle of nowhere out there.
Cheap.
Well, if you can find a house, and this question came up. I told John, remind me to talk about this. This came up twice this week with clients of mine, and it was around the topic of new homes. And I'm glad to see that new home business is going, because it is real job hiring. When you're hiring somebody to build a house and do those kind of things, that is real money. It's money into your county because people are paying permits and fees. It's money into the contractors. It's money into every little supplier, and it's money into the builder. And you know what? People don't just. If you've been following the show for a few weeks, I just finally did sell my house, and I just went into contract to buy another one. And people don't just pick up and move into a new house, and that's it. That's not how it works. At least in my house. You look around and you say, okay. Man, that pool table looks really heavy. I do not want to move that pool table. So you put it on Craigslist and you sell it, and you do something else. And the lady the person wants to buy your house says, hey, you want to leave that dining room table here? And so they buy it from you, and then you go to the next house and go, well, now I don't have a dining room table. So real estate transactions are so critical, and the tentacles are so incredibly long, how far they reach out in a normal real estate world. And I'm talking about not you buying an REO from the bank,
right?
But in a real transaction where I sold my house to you, you sold your house to somebody else, and I'm buying a house from somebody else, and all of us make a shift, and we don't just pick up our stuff and move. I mean, we wish. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of, and you think about all the people, the title company and the realtors and the inspectors and the appraisers and all the little, not huge amounts of money, but all the little dollars that trickle out. And then you get there and you look at the house and you say, even if it's brand new, well, a brand new house doesn't have any window shades.
Right.
And there's generally no landscaping in the back.
Change colors, what have you.
Yeah. And you start looking around. Oh, I need to buy, some pictures for this. And I always say that nobody's car ever looks good in the new garage. So it starts to spur on activity. Theoretically and hopefully you get excited about your new place. You're like, you know what, I need to get out and kick some butt at my job, because
right.
This is expensive stuff to do, and I want to make one more step up. I want to live a little better, so I'm going to get out there and really kick some butt and make some good money and do whatever I got to do to make sure all this works. And and next thing you know, darn it, everybody has kind of shifted up, and your economy is moving on, and it's not just the transaction of the house sale; it's all the other stuff. And we'll have to. I know we
did that one time where we made a list of how many different people were involved, and it just grows and grows and grows.
It is enormous. So, but I had this question this week when it came to new home construction or new home sales, and I had two clients that were pre-approved and were looking for existing homes, couldn't find one that they liked or were getting outbid. So they both are making offers on a brand new home, which is great. And the question was, posed back to me, the builder is going to give me a credit if I use their lender. And they won't give me the credit if I use you, Jeff. I have to use their lender. And what do could you do the same thing? And obviously, I'm not a builder, and we don't give out any credits. But I tell this to everybody. Some of those are honest to goodness credits. I mean, and there is an advantage. The builder feels there's an advantage to have a little bit of control over what's going on and who's doing the loan, so they actually know what's going on. And I'll get into that in a minute. But a lot of times, and I would say more than half, the so-called credit you're getting is a shift of the little ball into the cups, right? It's a little hand game. And so I had one come back this week where they sent me their quote, and the rate was 0.25% higher than the market rate, and they were being charged an origination fee to get a credit back of some amount of money. I think it's $7,000 or $8,000.
Right. And
I did the math on it, and I said, well, okay, look at with the rest of the market, whether you use me or whomever, that rate today would give you about a $5,000 credit anyway, and not have to charge you the $3,000 origination fee. So they're charging you $3,000 and overcharging you on the rate, and then giving you a credit back. It's basically a wash, right? You could have got that anyway, or something very, very close to that. So there is. I was telling John as I walked by the copier this week, I said, this frustrates me. And John says, well, just tell them there's no free lunch. I mean, nothing is free. Right. And so you do have to be a little bit careful. And here's where I think at the end of the day, you might second guess whether you want to use the builder's lender. And all things being equal, is that, in my opinion, the builder's lender works for the builder, not for you. If you come to get a loan from me, I don't know the builder. I'm not obligated to do anything for the builder. My due diligence, my efforts, all of my goodwill and all my responsibility is to you, the borrower. And what that means is that a lot of times you get to the end of the process and the builder says, hey, we're ready to close. Send us the money. And this has happened to me more times than I can count. And I tell the builder or the builder's agent, the borrower has asked me not to fund this loan yet. There apparently is a punch list of 10 or 15 things that are not done on the house. Well, we'll get to them. We'll get to them later. Right. The borrower, my client, has said they want them done now before they give you the money. Now, nothing irritates a seller or a builder more than being told that money isn't coming yet. But the difference being is that when you're working with the builder's lender, the builder says fund the loan, the builder's lender funds the loan. Right. And so you get a little bit of left out in the cold there a little bit. Now, hey, if you're getting an $8,000 to $10,000 true net credit, then do it.
Yeah, if it's true, apples to apples. Then
do it. My point has always been you could probably just go in there and they like to keep the prices up on their house. They'd rather keep the house price up a little bit and give you a little bit of money back. My point is you probably could have got that credit anyway. At the end of the day, they want to sell houses, period. Yes. That's where they make their money. So if you're out there and you're looking at in the new home world, just keep that in mind. That who is the lender working for? I know they're working with you. Are they really working for you? My guess is probably not.
Yeah, I was told yesterday some builders out there, they're taking 60 to 90 days for the initial punch list to get completed. So if you're willing to move into a house and wait 2 to 3 months for some of those final items to get taken care of, just do your diligence.
Yeah, so that came up a couple times. That's why I wrote it down. Thought that was interesting. Hey, Grant, are we ready? Are we up for another break there? Are we got to take another one? Yeah, let's. I got just so much stuff to cover today. Let's get another quiz question out there, if you will. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Off the text line, hey, Jeff, remember the BS train is, they also approved the lottery, voters. Remember the lottery is promoted as an end to tax support of schools. Our schools win, too. I guess that didn't work. Duh. So that was off the text line at the 916, and we're still getting, we will pick one or two of our texters, and our text tussle of the day, if you will, is do you support the bullet train? Maybe not that it matters anymore. Yes or no at 44-1140, and you can give us a reason why. Our quiz question is what?
Well, all this talking here is making me thirsty, so let's see. Anheuser-Busch.
I've heard of them.
Small group. Yeah. They sealed a $20.1 billion deal to purchase whom or what?
The JeffTarbell.com site.
Yes.
Please.
How big's that new house you're buying, baby? Come on.
For $20 billion, I could buy maybe both houses. Keep on. So Anheuser-Busch has spent $20 billion, or at least agreed to buy who or what, huh?
Yes.
Does a lime come with that? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. I've got a 4-pack of River Cats baseball tickets for you. Go out to River Cats. Any game you want to catch. If you go on the Saturday night games, I think they do the fireworks.
Yes.
I'm not sure if all the fireworks go off in the first 10 seconds or not, but you can ask them. They can maybe do that for you. It'd be kind of fun. This is Talkin Money. We'll be
right back, Jack.